Okay, so a very good evening to all of you, and a very warm welcome to all the fresh chartered accountants of November 2024 exams. And I'm here on behalf of Degree to Placements, welcoming you, and extremely honored and humbled to have Wipro Enterprises with us and the team from Wipro, Mr. Ravi Anantaramaya, from the HR team, Naren ji and Smita madam, for pulling out time. And I am really thankful that this activity has been taking on for almost more than a decade now. It's an effort where we expect you all as students to come and understand what the jobs are all about, how you will be taken up, and what will be your life, and how will you be your career shaping up with Wipro. This arose with a need of an unmet need of the market, that when students graduate and become chartered accountants, they don't have that particular position saying coming that how do I enter into the market, what the job would be all about. So this started way back, and then Narenji, who has been the architect behind Wipro cohorts as well as the GFL program, came up with this idea, and then we have started executing it. It's been more than a decade now being doing it. So, to take you through the overall GFL program and about Wipro, I have Mr. Ravi Anantaramaya with me, who is the Vice President and Global Controller of Wipro Enterprises. He's a chartered accountant and a CMA. Ravi has close to 3 decades of experience to his credit. His career has seen him work in diverse industries, including technology with Motorola, healthcare with GE, and now in FMCG and infra engineering at Wipro Enterprises. Ravi invests significant time into the GFL program, where he is on the board to decide the curriculum and is a faculty for some of the technical sessions and mentor to the GFLs. Very warm welcome to you, Ravi ji, for this session. And then I have with me Mr. Naren Nair. Naren Nayarji himself has got a 25 plus years experience spanning software engineering, execution, consulting, sales and marketing, and corporate finance. Prior to starting his consulting firm, Naren was GM and head of pricing, revenue, contracts, and accounts receivable at Wipro. Today, he spends his time consulting and training finance professionals in corporates on finance, data analytics, AI, and leadership skills. He is the mentor for the Global Finance Leaders Program and cohorts program of Wipro Enterprises and Wipro Limited, respectively. Along with this, as getting to hear from the horse's mouth, we have got two GFLs also who have joined us, Abhijit Etta and Harsh Agrawal. So I would welcome Abhijit and Harsh also. They would be exactly similar like you all, the way you all have been right now candidates. They were candidates just a year back, if I'm not wrong, Narenji. So they will be sharing their experiences. They will be sharing all those things, what they have been through, so that you get a direct first-hand feedback. Because you all are Gen Zs, now you want to hear it directly. So that's why. So, and above all, at the backstage, we always have Smita ma'am also. Smita ma'am, welcome to you also. You have been the coordinating person with me for all this. So without taking much of the time now, it's over to Narenji and Raviji. You can take it up, sir. Thank you.
So Naren, you will give some introduction, or how do you want to go about? Smita
No,
and
Ravi,
Naren.
you can start, and I'll take off from where you leave, which is about the GFL program and the design principles of that. So you can start by introducing the organization and the ecosystem from where we come from.
Sure. Thank you, Naren. Thank you. First of all, I think thanks, Deepak ji, for this nice introduction, and to all the newly minted, chartered accountants, I congratulations to all of you, and welcome to the fraternity of, chartered accountants. You guys have really, passed, that particular ceiling, and then moved on to the next orbit in your, careers, at least in your budding, starting, kind of a careers, getting over the student life. So it as introduced, I've got around 3 decades of experience working in Wipro for a long time. At this point in time, taking care of the group reporting and controllership functions out here. And it will be really glad for me to take you through what is Wipro Enterprises all about. And you see our bright GFLs from the last session, in terms of who have worked with us now for 1 year and then are eagerly awaiting their placements. Their photograph is there with you, all bright, and hope to see many of you in this program from the current batch. Okay, with that, probably I will move on to the next page there, as to introduce what is Wipro all about, right? So the history of Wipro starts when it got founded in 1945. It was called as Western India Products, which is what is Wipro. You can see the certificate of incorporation, right? And then within next couple of years, Wipro got in fact listed in the Bombay Stock Exchange, right? And since then, it has been there, part of the listed entity. And and then we have been continued to be there as one of the top whether it's Sensex or whether it's any of these indices, we have been there. And initially it started as a in fact manufacturers of not in IT. At that time IT was not there, so it was producing a lot of manufactured products, started in Maharashtra and then gradually expanded everywhere. As you can see, it's a small capital which was in fact authorized and paid up at that point in time. It continues to be same. There is no change in the paid up capital even today, if any one of you have seen our annual reports, right? So if I go on to the next page there, I think we were in the brick and mortar business completely till the 80s. In 80s, IT boom happened, and as a result of which Wipro moved on to IT business. In first, we were selling computers, we were manufacturing computers, we were dealers for some of the global brands, and then we got into the IT services, which became a huge business, right? Wipro is one of the top IT, in fact, service providers today in the world, and IT grew so much that it overshadowed the non-IT part of the business for in the decade preceding this demerger. So that is when Wipro and the chairman took a call saying that, hey, let us demerge our IT and the non-IT businesses, and we can give much more focus to the brick and mortar business, which is the non-IT part of it, which is Wipro Enterprises. And 2013, IT was the listed entity, and non-IT became the private limited unlisted entity from a Wipro business point of view. So entire non-IT part is with Wipro Enterprises. That's exactly what we are at this point in time hiring. So it is nothing to do with the IT. IT is a separate program. This is a non-IT part. I just wanted to give a clarifications. We'll walk you through what does this non-IT business mean. Because last 11 years of journey, Wipro Enterprises has had very, very eventful journey in terms of its growth, in terms of its spread, in terms of its depth, in terms of its in fact the newer businesses where it has got itself involved in. So the biggest difference is Wipro Limited is the listed part, which is in IT. Wipro Enterprises is the unlisted part, which is in non-IT. So that's exactly the difference there. And we are right now talking about Wipro Enterprises, which is the non-IT part of the business. If we go further into the pages here in the non-IT business, so what all the things that are there? Basically, we have two segments, right? First segment is called engineering, which is infrastructure engineering segment, and this is where we have quite a few industrial engineering businesses, and we will walk you through that in the subsequent slides. So it is completely B2B business, which is into high tech industrial kind of a engineering, and primarily playing in the infrastructure segment, right? The next one is the consumer care and lighting division, which is primarily FMCG business, dealing with all the personal care, home care, food business, industrial lighting, commercial lighting, as well as LED, whatever we have seen in terms of the trade lighting, seating solutions. All these businesses come and become a part of the consumer care and lighting. And we are talking about a global presence here, right? And then we have got two major joint ventures. One is Wipro Kawasaki, which manufactures the pumps and excavators, and then Wipro GE, which is in the healthcare equipment and healthcare services segment there. So again, both of them have got their manufacturing plants and then engineering divisions as well, and they are part of the Wipro family, enterprises family, right? And in terms of the global footprint, we have market, we have got presence in 80 plus countries, right? And we have 14,000 plus employees, and we have entities in more than 25 countries, as of today. And our revenues today, primarily, if you look at it, more than 55%, 60% revenues comes from outside India. So India, revenues are slightly less than the half of it. So which means we are primarily international, company dealing with completely with both consumer care and infrastructure engineering businesses. So this is exactly what we are. Going on to the next page, what distinguishes Wipro from all others, today, if you look at, in terms of the corporates, is the values that Wipro carries. Wipro has got a very strong value, very strong culture, which is also known as the spirit of Wipro, right? And it has these four very, very important values which we really in Wipro live by. The first one is, of course, about the client's success, where we are passionate. We want to ensure the success of our client as well, as well as us. So that's exactly what brings success to us. The most important in terms of the people is we need to treat each person with respect. So that's extremely important for us. And be global and responsible, because Wipro, as I told you, is marketing in 80 countries, and we have presence in more than 25 countries with our companies there, with international revenues primarily coming, overshadowing the domestic revenues for us. And last and the most important one is the unyielding integrity. So Wipro also is known, for its ethics, right? It's character and the conduct. That's most important for Wipro. And I do not know whether how many of you know, there is one international agency which conducts kind of a assessment and then publishes the most ethical companies in the world, called as Ethisphere, right? From India, there are only two, in fact, companies which are there in the last 10 years in the most ethical companies in the world. So they publish around 100 to 120 companies saying that these are the most ethical companies. And from India, Wipro, we are proud to say that Wipro is one of the companies which is considered as the most ethical. Second one is the Tata Steel. So these are two companies which have been there in that list. So we are proud to be so. And then that's all because of the values we live by, the culture that Wipro has, and we really, really feel very, very close to it, and are very attached to these values. So moving on, from this slide, as I explained, this is the place where you can see where all we are spread. We are in all the continents, probably except Australia and New Zealand. So you can see all the dots there, and these are the places where we have not just small office. We have got our factories in all these places. It's either it produces something to do with the consumer care, which is on the Southeast Asia side. You can see all the blue dots there. They're all the consumer care related facilities. If you see the red ones, primarily in Europe and in Americas, they're all the infrastructure engineering facilities there, which are primarily the factories that in fact where we produce certain infrastructure engineering equipments, and also carry out those businesses out there. So this is the global overview of Wipro's businesses, and we are in all the continents, as you can see. So if we move on to the next page there. So now here I will take you through what are all the segments and individual businesses where Wipro is in fact involved. Consumer, as I told you, is the most important business for us. If our revenue today is around 20,000 crores, nearly slightly more than half of it comes from the consumer care and lighting. So this is one of the most important businesses for us. And if I move to the next page there, in the consumer care, we have, this is the India business. What you can see here, we are a household name in India. We are the number 2 in terms of the soap brand what we can have as Santur in India. We also have some of the brands like Yardley and Chandrika in our portfolio, right? These are all the India brands which are there, and probably some of us may be using it, but many of us may not know it is manufactured and it is owned by Wipro. So that's exactly is the India brand, the extremely important portfolio for us. We have got around 78 factories in India which deal with this particular business, and more than 30 branches where we distribute it through, with a lot of thousands of distributors who are involved in this business. If we move to the next slide there, in the consumer international, this is where we are in fact in international, where all we have got various products. Like Malaysia is one of our biggest geography. We got quite a few strong brands in Malaysia. Similarly, if I come to Vietnam is another place where we have got strong presence. China is another place where we have got strong presence, and then we have got Philippines as well as Indonesia where we have got really good presence. In the Middle East we got in Dubai and also in South Africa. So these are all the places where we have a lot of these brands. But if you look at it, they are not the same brands as you saw in India. So it is all the local brands out there. So our philosophy is that grow the local brands, make it stronger. People get attached. People really value it much more significantly. So if I move to the next particular page out there, from the consumer business, we started off a new business in food. This was around 3 years ago. This is a new business. We expanded into this particular segment because we found that food business is extremely growing as well as important business, and we have already 3 brands which are there. As you can see there, the Brahmins is one of the brands which is there, which deals with spices. Similarly, Nirapara is another brand which deals with spices, and we have homegrown brand called Granamma, which actually is the snacks brand which is operating out of Bangalore. So this is another very growing growth oriented area in the foods business. So this is primarily into the packaged foods. So if I move on to the next one, this is the industrial lighting, where we light up big offices, stadiums, those kind of corporate places, in terms of giving them the lighting solutions, right? And if you move on to the next page there, in terms of we have got seating solutions, which used to be our furniture division. If you look at it, probably we were the highest selling chair on the e-com platforms at the time of COVID. So we've got very ergonomically designed chairs, which is again a major segment for us. And if you move on to the next page, in terms of our business, then you can go to the next page. So this is about our consumer care and lighting business. Now I am moving into the infrastructure engineering business. Hydraulics is the business which Wipro started in 70s. So from 70s we have come a long way, and then we are at this point in time, India, we are the biggest hydraulic cylinder manufacturers. Even in Europe, we are becoming the bigger. We have presence in all the countries. We made acquisitions in Canada and US last year, this year, and then we have really moved into different types of cylinders, which in fact are used in mining, in terms of the transportation, in terms of agriculture. All these sectors are actually customers of our this hydraulics business. So we got factories at 5 factories in India, and also factories across Europe and US for hydraulic cylinders manufacturing. If we move on to the next business, what we operate after hydraulics, it is the automation, industrial automation segment. Industrial automation is a new segment which we entered in somewhere in 2019, but it has become pretty big for us, with our business growing in India as well as in Europe and US. So we are really this is where we prepare companies to become ready for the industry 4.0 standards, where automation comes into big play. You can see in fact a robotic manufacturing that is getting in. That's exactly what we in fact design in India. Our facility is based out of Pune for this automation, and then we have got facilities in multiple countries in Europe as well as in US. So this is one of the very niche and very, I would rather say high growth businesses for us in the engineering and infrastructure engineering division there. If we move on to the next page there, we have got additive manufacturing, which is metallic 3D printing. So people are into plastic 3D, but metallic 3D is slightly niche, and this is a very small business for us, but very close business in terms of the technology deployment. And we have here, we print some of the 3D parts which are utilized by in fact high-tech industry, like the ISRO's rockets use some of the 3D printed parts by Wipro. So this is again a very key but a very focused business for us. If we move on to the next page, in terms of our businesses, this is the aerospace engineering. We have aerospace engineering is headquartered in Israel for Wipro, and we have Boeing as our one of the major customers. They procure Airbus Industries is, you can see the flights out there. Most of the flights what we travel has one or the other parts manufactured by Wipro today. So we manufacture landing gears, we manufacture some of the structurals for the aeroplanes, and it is some of the one of the very important and very major business in our infrastructure engineering division. And we have got facilities in Bangalore, in Israel, as well as in Americas for the aerospace engineering division. So if you move on to the next business infrastructure, water treatment plants, this is again another big requirement. Wherever industries are created, water treatment becomes very important, especially with the health hygiene standards really regulatory becoming very tight there. We really go ahead and deploy the water treatment technologies in any of the plants or any of the facilities. You can see that it's all big facilities there. So we deploy our technology in terms of the water treatment and water recycling plants out there. This is headquartered in Mumbai, for us. These are all the various businesses, I think, we operate in today. And, they are very critical. And as you can see, our, revenue of 20,000 crores comes from all these businesses. And it's a bouquet of, I would rather say, divergent, and very focused and a niche, kind of, areas. And from the point of view of working as at the central level, when I look at it, it gets extremely interesting for us, because each one brings in a lot of learning. Each one brings in a lot of interesting facets for us in terms of its own spread, its own depth, and its own, in fact, nuances that are involved here. So probably, Naren, I think anything is there on the next probably page would be yours, I think. So maybe I'll introduce this particular finance organization, and then maybe Naren, you can just take it up. So with these varied businesses, I think we have very strong and robust finance team here, but not a big one. We are very niche. We want people to really get everything, understand everything, right from top to bottom there, and get involved and engaged there. So our selection process also, if you look at it, we don't really select in terms of hordes of people here. We are very focused in terms of our own hiring as well, whether it is the GFL hiring which we are doing right now here, or for our teams. So we have very focused, very strong internal audit team internally. We have got a controllership team which takes care of the reporting, controllership, and the shared services. And then we've got business finance team where a lot of analyticals, business analytics are done. It partners with the business for the growth, as well as doing any acquisitions and mergers. Right, and then we got a legal and secretarial team. Again, compliance becomes extremely important for us, right? If we have to be ethical, if you have to, then you have to comply with the laws of the land everywhere, and we having spread our complete tentacles into multiple countries. Similarly, tax management is extremely critical for us. Tax planning, and tax structuring, is extremely important for us, as well as tax compliance, because you need to be compliant in tax. Very interesting, areas. And treasury, we are very strong treasury. Our treasury, we have won multiple awards being the best treasury in India, and we manage more than $1 billion worth of investments there with various products and trading and FX, as well as interest rate swaps. It's very interesting area, and then we got a very strong treasury team which does the management of our investment and the cash. So this is a brief about the finance organizations at well, where our GFLs who would be selected would actually get placed depending on the openings which are there, and also depending on the projects which we would be really panning out in various these sub functions of finance. So with this, over to you, Naren. Anything else you want me to add, just let me know. Otherwise, I think
No, Ravi, I think it's a very crisp and quick introduction of our businesses. So I'll take it from here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Naren. Thank you, Deepak ji. I'll take leave, and then over to you, Naren. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ravi ji. Thank you.
Bye.
So, folks, before I go there and to talk to you about the GFL program, I'll take a few minutes to talk to you about the design principles of this program. You've just heard Ravi speak about the breadth of the business, and in quite a few businesses that he spoke about, we are the market leaders. So, for example, be it skincare products in Southeast Asia, or many countries in Southeast Asia, or the toilet soap market in India, or hydraulics in India and in other countries as well, we have a leadership position there. So these are places, and even for in the aerospace also, for some of the things that we manufacture, like landing gears, actuators, and so on. So for such a company, which is very, so you would think that, I'm sure that you might not remember everything, all the businesses that we are in, probably, because when somebody asks us, we have to also count like in our fingers, like that, we have to count in our fingers how many businesses we are in. But when jokes apart, when you think of it, why does an organization try to be in so many different industry segments? The reason is that as a company, Wipro has always been ambitious and at the same time very we are very calculative in the risks that we take. So we make bets. We are not hesitant to make bets in new areas. So robotics is one area where we had no presence some time back. A few years back, about 4 years, 5 years back, we had no presence in robotics. But that is where we started. Now, that talks about the organization, how the organization wants to behave in the football field. So it is also, though it was established in 1945, we behave like a startup. We behave like a very young organization. So constantly diversifying, constantly acquiring companies, and constantly organically growing as well. So both organic and inorganic growth is what we're facing. Now, putting this in context, when you think that what kind of a set of people do we need to hire and how do we make this business successful, and finance is a key co-pilot to that business. So what I mean by co-pilot is that when a sales team misses their targets or hits their target, we feel the pain and the joy respectively, obviously. So this is what means by co-pilot. So we are not, in finance team, we are not bean counters. We are not just related to reporting the numbers, but we get ourselves involved in the business. So we play the game along with the business teams as well. So that is why you will see finance people from Wipro Enterprises going and talking to the customers, negotiating with the customers, and also meeting, doing market visits and so on as well regularly. So that is one of the hallmarks of that. So now, if you have to build an organization like that, we need to have a program which is also very solid, where we hire people from the campuses and then take them to a different level altogether. Because think of it, the business acquisitions that we have done, we need we need people to be able to do the integration. First of all, start with the valuation, and also all the integration process that comes after the acquisition has been done. Even scout for acquisition, value the companies that we are wanting to hire, and secondly, run the business and grow our business also. So Ravi mentioned we launched a snacks brand called Granama. It is South Indian snacks that we sell in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu right now. So, for these kind of businesses, we need to have young, energetic people who can just think differently and have a broader perspective. And that is where we come in and look for and seek help from Deepak ji and others, so that we can hire the right people there for the business. So before I start, there's obviously a selection process. The idea is not about whether you are good or bad, or how good you are or how good you aren't. What we are looking for is that in this ecosystem, in this particular business environment that we are talking about, will you be set up for insane success? That is the evaluation pattern that we use. So for that, from the beginning to end, all the decisions are based on that. So what we do is that as I told you, we are a young organization. If you've seen babies and children, they are hyperactive, right? They run around all the time. So we also want you guys to be on the treadmill from the time you hit the company. So the first 6 months, when you join in, for the first 6 months, we put you into a first role, which is either in controllership or one of the central functions, controllership or into internal audit or so on. So what happens is that you understand the company, you do a couple of audit assignments, you do some things in controllership, you follow two finance cycles. One finance cycle is a 3-month cycle, so 2 quarter closures, and by the time you get an idea about the business also in the 6 months. What we also do within that 6 months is also that you start you up along with that full-time job that you are. We prepare you for the future, and by future I mean not 1 year, 2 years from now, but to enable you to think in a very different manner. So not like dil hai chota sa choti si asha, but think really big. So we see you guys as people who are joining the GFL program. We see them as really future business leaders, and not even CFOs. In fact, we see them as business leaders from that perspective. So to create that kind of a program, we have to really challenge you guys, and then we take you through some aspects of business, finance, and accounting, and international taxation, which you would not have thought of when you were doing your CA. You can hear from your fellow GFLs also. Then we also have, so finance is one, you already have a finance qualification, but once you come in, you'll know how practically this practical scenarios pan out in the industry. And second is also how to join the dots. In real world, nothing comes in form of a syllabus very neatly organized as chapter 1, chapter 2, or the first paper, second paper, third paper, and so on. So you'll learn to join the dots also. We want you also to be superbly savvy in technology. So we take you through sessions on AI, blockchain, and data analytics. And I can tell you that, our GFLs today, the data analytics, that the depth of understanding that they have in some of the data analytics tools like Power BI and others, is second to none. In fact, some of them might be, you'll mistake them as IT people also. The skill with which they are able to use these tools. They also understand how artificial intelligence works internally. We rip it apart and explain it to them. And apart from that, soft skills like storytelling. How do you make powerful presentations, critical thinking, communication, and etiquettes. So we even have a session where you are taught how to the dining etiquettes and meeting etiquettes and all those things as well. So use how to hold a fork and knife and where to keep the napkin when you are in a formal dinner. In an informal dinner, how do you do? In a buffet dinner, how it happens. So we are really thinking of it from a holistic point of view. So that is the 6 months going to be looking like. And once the 6 months is over, you are immediately assigned to the first project that you'll be doing. And project is in a business typically, or in one of the finance functions, you do a project. And after you do the project, you're supposed to make a presentation, which is evaluated by the panel, is typically the direct reports of the CFO. So, for example, people like Ravi, anybody would have minimum of 20 years of experience who would be evaluating you and guiding you also in that. Of course, they will be tough, but that is how you become better in the game, right? You become better when you play with a very strong adversary. Once your first project is over, we take you and put you into a second project. And again, the same thing happens. And by the time you finish off, about 10 to 12 months, why I say 12 months is that in between you have Diwali and you have a Christmas break in between and so on. But typically we try to close it within 10 months or 11 months. But once that is done, then we put you into a final role, which is your landing role, where you start working in as a full-time individual contributor. It is not that you are not working during the 6 months or during the project. In projects, mind you, we expect you to give tangible deliverables. And also, it is something that is useful for the business, where business really needs to know that. So that is how broadly we have structured it. So from the time you join in, you will be running all the time. You'll be in a treadmill, making sure that we make sure that you don't accumulate complacence and become dull like that. So, but that said, it's also a very active and a fun environment also that we build there. So I'll let the GFLs talk to you about that. So, how much ever I say about Wipro or the two things that will matter to you guys is, I believe, is that what is your profile going to look like? What will be your profile and what is your salary? So profile, I have told you already. What we are looking for is there is no job description per se, because we are looking at building you over a period of time. So this is not some 2-minute Maggie or something where you can build something in 2 minutes and then you're done. So this is about if you need to get something really good, you need to invest time on that, right? Same as CA. Think of it. You can take a qualification which is much more faster. You can write a few papers and get a qualification there. But when you invest in a program like CA, when you come out of that whole process as a qualified chartered accountant, the value is very different, right? So same way we try to do that also in a corporate environment from that perspective. So uh, I'll request you to refrain from drawing on the screen, but it's okay. So first you have an induction and an onboarding and an induction. We have buddies assigned who will help you navigate. through through the program and through the company and understanding settling down in a new place, because you are coming to a new place. Most people relocate to Bangalore when they come there. Second is you are assigned to one of the finance functions for 6 months, like I told you. You'll be working there full time. There will be deliverables expected from you. Parallelly, you will have master classes that will build your human capital in a fast track mode. And then you have project presentations based on master classes. So you will have to work on some projects and presentations based on the master classes that I talked to you about in different finance, behavioral skills, in technology, and so on. Then you will be required to make presentations on that as well. So all in all, it is something which will really push you to the limit. And I'll just take you one more slide about the process and what is the selection process, what are the steps involved there. The link has been shared already in the chat window by Smita, and you can see that. So the first is that, register for the link. There is an online written test, and followed by extempore round, and then there is a personal interview round, a few technical rounds, and then HR round. And you also have a short meet. The selected candidates will also have a short meeting with our CFO, so that he also recognizes you when you land in here, and you also get his mind share also. So we make sure that this program is really has the attention of the entire top management. And so that's the process, that the way the process works. And we are looking for only November 25 qualified CA. So the results that came in December. And after that, and max of 2 attempts. So when you register, there is a definition of also what are 2 attempts and so on. So you can, find that out in case you have a doubt there. When you register, you can see that. Minimum of 55% in finals, and you must be able to join us on or before 20th of February. So typically we'll have the onboarding somewhere between 14th to 20th. So we've not decided the date exactly. The reason is that we have to onboard people based on our business cycles. So that is the reason why we've not been able to tell right now. But and the compensation is 11.5 lakhs plus 2 lakh engagement bonus, which you will get after 28 months. And posting will be in Bangalore for the first initial 6 months. After that, the projects also, you will be based out of Bangalore for that, but you need to travel also. So you might need to travel to Mumbai, Pune, or international locations also when you are working on the project. So that's how the program works. And that's all I have. So what I will do is that I will request my colleagues and my GFLs who have joined already there. So Harsh Agarwal is there and Abhitej is there. So Abhitej joined us from in 2023 batch of GFL. So I'll request Abhitej to come on video and then speak about his experience. And you can ask any question to Abhitej. You can connect with him also on LinkedIn, and Harsh can also be there. Harsh is also there. There are few other GFLs also I see on the name. And I'd request those of you who can switch on your videos. You can. Dhanu, I saw Dhanu some time back. Others also, so they can see you guys. Over to you, Abhitej.
Yeah, hi Naren. Hi Deepak sir, and congratulations to all the chartered accountants right now. So you have completed one step, and the next step is ahead right now. So all your people are eager right now after the results, probably 15 days right now. So I have joined the Wipro in 2023, February, I guess. And now it's almost 2 years. So the first year, like Naren said, we would be onboarded into the first 6 months into the controllership. Then the 2 business projects would be given to you. So the first one I did was an overseas business project in the consumer care segment. The second one is in the internal audit. After the 1 year program of the GFL, you will be handed over your final roles. So at present, I am in the sourcing finance in the wind hydraulics business. So the first 1 year of the GFL program would be hectic as such, just like the CAs now what you are doing. So you will be working full time as well as doing the case studies, which Naren will help you take the case study classes as such, M&A, data analytics, and the others. So that's the major portion of it. Apart from that, in the case studies, you will be learning accounting, M&A, tax, international as well as the domestic one, DAX, Power BI, Excel. The good thing about the organization is that there is no hierarchy structure here. So if you want to meet to the leadership team, like you have seen, just Ravi spoke with us, so he'll be available to us anytime if you need any kind of guidance or any help in doing work, etc. So the people are friendly here. So this is an good organization to start your career with. You have an abundant opportunities to learn, grow. Yeah, any questions if you have, feel free to ask.
Hi, Abhitij. I have a question regarding onboarding process and can we apply on the given link? Actually, our articleship is getting up completed by April mid, but we are still having some compost. We can join bit early also. So can we still apply on that link
Yeah,
because all the first guys are having completed their articleship by March end or April mid because at the entire attempt our result was too late in Feb. So
yeah. Hi, Krish. So these question will be taken by Smita and Naren later on. People will respond to you regarding that. So anything regarding to our journey which you can ask or any doubt relating to it, please.
okay. Any major articleship experience is required by the Wipro, which we should have. Actually, I worked in internal audit and risk advisory at RSM. So, is it the good articleship experience so that I can bring into Wipro?
There is no as such any kind of good or bad experience. Whatever the work you have done, if you are able to showcase that, that would be sufficient enough. Completing the other rounds also, which like online test, exam 4, the other stuff, if you can do well, then probably you are in.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So now Harsh will speak. Yeah. Over to you, Harsh.
Hi, a very good evening, everyone. So, first of all, congratulations to all of you for uh, clearing your CA final exams. And today, as I speak, actually, it's a very special day for me because it's 9th Jan 2025, and exactly 1 year ago, I also cleared my CA finals. So, yeah, and so all those things which Abhitej said about the program are this is how the program goes like. So from, as Naren rightly mentioned, that from the first day onwards you'll be on the treadmill. So you should not feel like now we have completed our CA final exams and now we will live a happy life. So that is not the case because here at Wipro Enterprises, in the especially in the GFL program, you will be grilled, and the as Naren mentioned, so in the first 6 months of the program, you'll be allocated in either of the two departments, in internal audit or in controllership team. So I'll speak a little about the projects which I got in my first stint in controllership team. So there are few projects which are pre-decided. Let's say I got one of the projects which was closure of financial statements of all the subsidiaries, Indian subsidiaries of Wipro Enterprises. Okay, then the next project which I got was mapping of all the trial balances and all the GL accounts across India as well as overseas entities. And then I was also involved in implementation of a tool which was a tracker for an intercompany loan. So all those things I did in internal audit, in controllership. And apart from this, it's not like so this is a full-time job which you will do, and apart from this there will be case studies in between. So we have different types of case studies here, like M&A case study, accounting case study, and international taxation case study. Before every case study, there will be a master class with the respective head. Let's say if you have international taxation case study, so the tax head will be taking up the master class. He will explain you all the critical concepts of international taxation and all those things. Similarly, for M&A and accounting, the respective heads will take a master class prior to the M&A case study, and then we will have to all the GFLs have to prepare and present the solution which they have to give the solution to the case study basically. So these case studies are there, and then in between we have different types of master classes also, like AI masterclass and Excel workshops and BI workshops. All those things are there. Then after you complete this 6 month stint in internal audit or controllership, then we are allocated different projects. The general timeline of the project is 2 months. So 2 months projects. So the first project which I got was in internal audit, since I had already worked in the controllership team during my first 6 months. So the first project which I got was in internal audit, so that I get an experience of both the departments, which are very crucial to the finance function. So that first project was in internal audit, and right now I am working on the second project, which is on the side of business finance, and some part of it is related to controllership also. And now all of us, including me, are waiting for our final roles. So that's it, how the program is designed. And feel you can ask any question or any doubt if you have, feel free to ask.
So guys, you can ask. I mean, you can ask them.
Unmute
sorry, go ahead.
yourself. Sorry, sir. I'll just
No, please.
add. The participants can unmute themselves and ask the questions. The settings of the session are enabled that way. So you can ask your questions.
So Harsh, Abhitej, Dhanu, amongst you, any one of you answer whatever question comes in. But I'll also encourage you to tell what are the things where you got frustrated and you were saying that "Arey, enough is enough." And I think Shubham has raised his hand.
Narendra, you are prompting them to speak their heart out.
Exactly.
Hello.
Okay, I think Shubham Rajwania has raised a hand. And before that, if...
I'm audible, sir?
Yes, Shubham, please carry on.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, and all my GFLs and fellow mates. So, sir, I'm asking some questions from GFLs, like how was your experience, and how can we prepare for our interview in upcoming days that at Wipro, and what should we keep in head before that interview?
Hi Shubham. Hi Shubham, Dhanu here. So regarding interview, so you should focus on your resume that you are preparing. Okay, you should read out each and everything and being confident about what you have written in resume, and you should prepare that. Along with that, you should also prepare some technical, like we have NDS or something. So you should be good in your technical also and focus more on your resume part. Basically, I will say whatever you have done in articleship, more focus will be on that only, rather than the some other stuff. So if you are good confidence having a resume and your articleship experience, I think you will be good okay to go for the interview. Another like technical questions that will be based on scenario to scenario. So you can't just come up with a list of 100 questions and you just grab. So that will vary to interview to interview. You can't have a defined set of questions, but more focus should be on your resume what you are preparing.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir.
One second, sorry for interrupting. Harsh, Dhanu, and Abhitej, in case they want to know sample questions, what you were asked in your interview, you can tell that. Please feel free to share anything, because again, the fact that they are all good has been proven by ICI. So it is not a test of whether they are good or anything of that sort that we are assessing. So just in case, but I mean, I'll let Himanshu speak, and then in case Shubham, if you want to know what kind of questions came for their interview, provided they remember, they can. I'll request them to share their experience.
On a lighter note, Narenji, all of them are CA students. They very well know that once a question asked will never get repeated also.
You can say you can take a mock interview, na?
No, I'll be happy to. So normally we do that. I'll just check with Deepak ji whenever he has time and you have time. I'll be happy to take you through typically what goes on in the mindset of an interviewer and how the template questions are formed typically. And I can get some colleagues also. Because again, it is not that we are trying to figure out who is good or bad. And that's not the intent at all. So I have no problems in sharing any tricks and tips also. No problem.
We'll be
Yeah,
more than
please.
happy to have you, Narenji. Let them speak first. Sorry, yes, Himanshu, Dhanu, please carry on.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Like there is a criteria, Naren sir said, of maximum 2 attempts. So like I have more than 2 attempts. So at present, I think I am not fit guy. So, but in future, if I have experience in like some other fields, and then if I want to join Wipro, so will it be feasible? Or there is a strict criteria for maximum 2 attempts that
No, absolutely. So only this is only they put for the GFL program per se, but lateral entry doesn't have any criteria like that because that is based on the experience that you gather. So this is just a for the GFL program only, Himanshu. So in
okay.
future, if you are very more than happy to receive your application and would love to see.
And other than GFL program, will it be also there is attempt number of attempts matters like for CA freshers
For
if I
GFL
want.
program, it does. For the other programs, it doesn't. For other
Okay,
lateral entry doesn't. So lateral entry is typically after 2 years or 1.5 years, 2 years, where we take the people there.
okay, okay. Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. Good evening. Are we given a choice to choose either controllership or internal audit, or it is at the discretion of Wipro?
So Akash, I'll take that question because it doesn't. There's no. We don't ask that who hates audit and then put that person who hates audit into audit or anything of that sort. I know people are very divided in terms of after having done audit for 2-3 years, you say, "Abhi, I don't even want to touch an audit function with a barge pole." Similarly, for tax, also some people are very divided in chartered account. So it is not like that. The reason why we want to put you in there is that it's for 6 months, and we don't want you to become a career auditor. That's also a clear idea that we have. But what we want, audit is one of the best places to understand the organization you are in. Think of the different businesses that we are in. Huh? See, you might see a name of a business and you might have an understanding. For example, I can tell that I'll take you to Taj, and then I take you to a restaurant called Taj Darbar. Not the same, two different things altogether, right? So the name can be anything, but once you see an organization, the which part of the organization, what is your interest area, what is it that you like, you will get a very good visibility about the organization, the audit function. That's why we do that. But the idea is not that it is not that we want to make for you to make your career in audit. We want you to become business leaders. And Dhanu, Abhitej, and Harsh can vouch for that. That every conversation I have with them is that, I don't see you as today's GFLs or something like that. Of course, I want you to be much, much more competent than any other person in any other company. But I look at you as 5 years from now or 10 years from now, 10 years from now, or even before, also maybe when you become CFOs of an organization or a CEO of organizations or business units or something like that. So that is a perspective that we come from. It is a long-term perspective, but we have to start in the beginning. So Kashi Yatra, longest of Kashi Yatra, you take with the first step only. So small steps only you can start. So that is the thought process that comes in. But don't worry that we'll make it as exciting that you won't have you won't be bored. That's for sure. I mean, these guys can tell whether they were bored or what time they were bored, when they were bored, and what happened. So I have Abhitej, Harsh, Hanu, please.
Yeah. So as
Yes, sir.
Naren
Thank
said,
you.
yeah, they'll assess you based on where to land you, like into the controllership or the internal audit. It's not as such that they'll put you somewhere even if you don't like, or it's not at your discretion also. So it's a midpoint somewhere you will get into, and you need to take these kind of decisions to learn more. And as such, Naren mentioned, audit you will get to understand the various kind of businesses which are present. So as Ravi spoke, there were many businesses which we are into, like hydraulics, automation, consumer care. So if you get into audit, you will work on the assignments, so you can understand the business much more deeper, so that even in your final role, if you get any kind of business segment, you will be the person who can understand the business, so you can do your role well. So that's one thing. So you need to take these kind of decisions and go ahead with the flow what's going on. You shouldn't restrict stating that this is the one which I cannot do. If you want, then that's a different ball game to happen. So feel free to that. If you are getting an opportunity, utilize it.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, please, Kushank, Akshat.
So is there any future or job openings in Gurugram, Delhi, NCR? Right now, there is a job openings in Bangalore, I think.
I'll take that again. So, we don't have any operations in Gurgaon right now. Everything is in Bangalore. So your first initial 6 months will be in Bangalore only, for sure. Projects depends on. So, for example, Abhitej, for his first project, he did it with Indonesia entity. So he Philippines, sorry. So he went to Philippines for that. So we don't have a strict rule of. For example, so what we expect also is that you come flexible initially. Now you come flexible in terms of come with an open mind that today's you will have to work hard for for a important role in future tomorrow. And I'll tell you why we do that. See, it's any exam any qualification that you go through, none of the people have any clue what the world is going to look 3 years from now or 4 years from. Nobody has a clue. People might say that AI will come away and take jobs and this and that and all that. But the point is that how do we really have to worry that how do we make you future ready? So that is where we come from, and therefore you have to be flexible also, because you'll have to be flexible in terms of learning and in terms of locations and all that. And when a good opportunity comes, never hesitate to put people in that right role. There's one question that came in on chat window that no, there is no work from home for this thing. All days is work from office only. So we work 5.5 days. Saturday is a half day. Yes, please. Others can go ahead.
Hi everyone. I just wanted to ask, should I go, Akshat?
Kushan, can you go first? After that, we'll ask Akshat to go.
Okay, yeah. Hi, good evening, sir. I just wanted to ask, as I have a pre-qualification experience for 3 years. So, will the package be fixed like as it is written 11.5? So, will there be any variation in the packages for the current role?
No, not really. So we don't have. There's no change in the compensation. It is
Okay.
for you come at this thing, and then we take you to a different level after that.
Okay, got it. Okay, noted, sir. Thank you.
Akshat, after you, Abhishek can go. First Akshat and then Abhishek.
Sir, I had a question regarding the eligibility program, because in that you have mentioned 55% in the finals, and you have mentioned 2 attempts, but I cleared both groups in the first attempt and I don't have 55% marks. So am I not eligible for the program?
No, unfortunately not. But if you have 54 point something, also we do a roundup. So in case it is something like that. So we, but these
Sir,
are again.
but it's like a
It is
bit.
not. Sorry.
Okay, sir. So, but it's like bit unfair when someone cleared first group in the previous attempt and first group in that attempt and have an aggregate of 55% marks, and I cleared both group in this attempt.
No, I understand that, but these are not decisions that one individual makes. It is from the organization's point of view that they make. So really, very limited this thing that I have, or one or two people have here in this one. If it was somebody that I could speak to the person who runs the GFL program and get it done, that's a different point altogether. We could have done that, but this is a organizational decision that is taken. So it is not really in hand of one or two people. Who debated also. Everybody had a
Okay,
point
sir.
of view, but we're really sorry for that. Can't change that part.
Naren sir,
But
I would have not got qualified.
we had discussions also on that, but it is finally it's a it's a decision that the organization takes. So we stand
Because
by.
in chartered accountancy, coming to 50 is magic, and then 50 to 55 is as good as like ending up with an AIR nowadays. So at times this happen. But okay. Aarti, I think, has a chat question also.
Yeah. In the meantime, next Abhishek can go in next and ask the question.
Good evening, Nayan sir, and all the GFL fellows. One question I want to ask is that, what kind of experience or skills you want to check in the candidate? Like, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you. My speaker is bad, that's why. Please go ahead.
Am I audible?
I can hear you.
Yes. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah,
Good
one
evening.
thing I want to know, sir, is that what kind of skills or article C experience you are checking in the candidates, C candidates. Like we have got 10,000 chartered accountants in this attempt only. No, now the thing is that what kind of criteria you check for the qualification shortlisting the candidates in your program?
So, there are multiple rounds that happen. So, there are, so for example, your articleship experience doesn't matter as long as you have not done a dummy article, which comes out, very easily in an interview. But
Yeah.
as long, whatever articleship experience, it doesn't matter because we believe the merit in that articleship experience you have. So, it doesn't matter whether you're from Big Four or a small firm or a very, very, very small firm also. It doesn't matter from that point of view. What skills do we look at is that when we learn when we learn things, we forget after some time, right? The first inter whatever you would have studied, you might have forgotten some things, and some things you would have left as an option and all that. So how you prepare for any interview is that you put your resume, structure your resume in such a way that it showcases your strength. Because as an interviewer, I am looking at the entire inter and the CA final papers, and some of the people also look at current affairs also. But typically, this is, and then I can pick anything from anywhere and ask you a question, which is very unfair. So the best way to overcome this unfairness is by putting a resume in such a way that it showcases the skill. Like in advertising, you have the technique. Now you will look at the part which is where there is photos of bright or bold color and so bold or in color and so on. So that way you put the attention, and once somebody reads your resume, at that time the person can say, "Okay, can you tell me about your articleship experience?" So you have to think really and put it like that. You should use, and you can use also AI chat GPT or something like that, but use it carefully so that you use it, but use it as a tool, not as word of God, huh? So something like that. So when the skills come in, what people typically tend to ask is that, because most of the people who are interviewing you, they're all 10 years plus chartered accountants, huh? So first of all, they would not remember whatever they would have studied also in final and inter and all that. They would remember, they'll have practical experience and all that. So they will also ask you questions which are more practical in nature and how you apply whatever you have learned. So, in fact, in most of the interviews that I have known, my colleagues who have taken interviews in different organizations, nobody tests for memory. You tell me which is the paragraph in Ind AS 115 which is talking about this particular a barter transaction or something. Nobody looks at that level of detail. Some people might be able to quote, but nobody looks at that. So nobody's testing memory. But you can create some questions and then do that. So like Deepak said, now we can have a different session for that. It will take quite some time. We can take that, how to prepare for an interview, and between yourselves also how you can do that. Huh?
Okay, thanks for your guidance, sir. Sure.
Sir, I have a question. Can I ask?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, actually, what the question when I asked, which I have asked from Harsh and Abhijit also, I want to ask that question. Actually, I have cleared my CFNS in the very first attempt, and I am having around 57-58% of marks, so that's not a worry. But my articleship is going on. It will be going to complete in April mid, because all the first
Krish,
attempt
can
guys are
you?
having.
Actually, I wanted to answer your question. I missed your name. I remember it was starting from K and Jayan was there. So, can you
Yes,
drop
yes.
a mail to us on well.gfl@wipro.com?
Okay, sure, sir,
Just drop
sure. I
the
will.
query. We will take
Yes.
it later.
Yes, because actually all the first attempt guys are having completed their articleship around March end or April first week. Because at the inter attempt our result was too late, yeah, on Fab end, and we have started also too late because of the ICS glitch and COVID glitch. That's why.
Uh-huh.
So
Sure, we'll
that's a
have to
worry
check
for
that
me.
because most of the times what happens is that, as I said, we have to align with the business cycle. For example, Jan, Feb, March is the planning, operation planning that happens. And if we onboard later, what happens is that the whole rhythm gets upset. Now, the people whom you are seeing, the Harsh and Dhanu, they are going to go into permanent roles now. So end of January. So which is otherwise it will create. That is why what I meant by saying aligning to the business cycle.
Yes, sir.
So Jan, Feb, March is the time when the ops planning happens, and then the next year starts from April, May, June. But just put a note to us, and we can answer that individually, huh?
Actually, around 11,000 from 11,000, 4,000 CS have cleared in the very first attempt. So that will be unfair for them if they won't join because of the articleship delay. That's why. That's I want to ask.
Got it. But just put that whatever is in so that I can check it up internally.
Sure. I will do it right away. Thank
Narenji,
you.
I think technically this is a spillover of that COVID extension which we had in 2021.
Yes, yes.
The exams went in January. There was a November 20 opt out, and the exams went in January 21.
No, that's not the case of mine. That's a case of December 2021. Our inter attempt on December 2021 and results will came on 26th of Feb.
Correct.
And we have done the articleship around March end or April mid.
So all
So
those people who would have cleared on the first attempt, their articleship would not get complete. Chris,
yes,
put
yes,
this across properly. I very well know Wipro will take a very proper stand on it. So don't. I can assure you on that.
Okay. That's a worry for me actually.
No.
We
It will be
because of
taken up.
The
yeah.
limitation is only that, Krish, that since we have to align with the business. See, for example, if it's an advisory firm, there is no problem in that.
Because
That is
whole
where.
year runs in a like a streamlined manner.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that I understand. Okay.
Sure.
I will drop a mail on that mail and please look into it.
Sure. And can drop your phone number also in case we want to call you and discuss also so that we can.
Sure. I will drop it on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Astha, you would want to.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. Sir, I am not from Bangalore and I'm from Rajasthan. So it may be there is a criteria for location as well when the Wipro is selection.
So in this group, if you see, nobody is from Bangalore. Everybody is from outside. In the last batch, we didn't have anybody from Bangalore. The batch before that, we had one person from Bangalore. So it is absolutely we would love to have people from. In fact, in this batch, I think we have everybody is from a different state. Every GFL is from a different state.
Yeah.
Even in the previous batch, also it was like that. I think, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a pan-India kind of a program right now.
Okay.
See, the only problem, we can't hear you, Astha. We're not able to hear you. No, we can't hear you. Earlier it was audible. Now we can't hear you.
Now am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I would like to ask about the exams or tests which gonna be happen before the interview session.
Yeah, Abhitej, you want to give a brief of how you face, and also Harsh and Dhanu also, you also mentioned that, huh? I mean, whatever your experience was, how to prepare and all that.
So the first would be an online test. So probably 3-4 sections would be there, which would be related to your subject, from FR, SFM, costing, tax. So you will be prepared on that. Apart from that, the general affairs, the related any kind of amendments which are related to our fields, mostly mathematical problem solving questions, etc., would be asked in the online test. So after that, you will be having an extempore. So 1 or 2 minutes would be given, a topic would be given to you to speak on that. So how well you present it and how well you discuss on that in that the limited time to showcase the important topic of it. So that matters regarding the extempore. And then coming to the interviews, so the technical round would be there, the HR round. So in the technical round also, whenever you prepare and resume, you should have the details which you have a grasp of or you have a grip of it. So when you showcase the resume to the interviewer, he'll first see the resume and he'll ask the questions based on that. So if you are prepared on that, So half of your interview gets cleared there. And anything related to the subject matter, which you showcase as an experience in the articleship, and any subject matter questions would be asked, like even if in case of articleship, if you say I have done an audit of an listed company or any kind of company in the fields of financial sector, IT sector, real estate, or any other thing. So if you can showcase that I have did the audit and these are the ways which we can verify it or etc., that would be sufficient enough, until and unless there is any other part, even if you did an audit from mediocre to high level big four firms. So this is relating to the technical stuff. Then HR stuff would be there. So anything related to the personal questions which you feel, or any HR questions like would you be placed in Bangalore? Would you be okay? That's a basic requirement as such for the program. So that will be tested. Any other things apart from that, you may have any questions even in that interview round where you want to ask, so you can leave an impression at that moment also, if you can ask your questions at that stage, any kind of valid one. So these are the important stuff. If you can structure each one properly, starting from your resume, prepare it before in hand, have a mock sessions, or analyze how do you want to speak. The first thing it comes at, tell about yourself. So how do you present yourself to them? Then based on that, the question comes. So these are the few things you can prepare on the technical subjects as well, like in FR 115, 109. These are the important core standards or etc., which you feel inventory is one, employee benefits, etc. If you have a grasp of it, then the logical sense which you can answer to any question would make you in. Yep.
Okay, thank you,
Dhanu, Harsh, you want to give any suggestions? Yeah.
Yeah. So Naren, I would like to add a point here. So someone has asked, right, like what kind of questions are asked in the interviews in the technical rounds. So what I feel is, what I noticed also was, like, it depends on who is taking the interview. So there is a panel, and there are people from different business and different functions, right? So let's say, if Ravi is taking your interview, who is the controllership head, so he will be asking more questions related to India's and related to financial reporting part. If let's say one of the CFOs is taking your interview, so they'll be more interested in understanding like how well you understand the business. So they will ask questions from SFM part. So it depends who is taking your interview, and the but the thing is, the questions will be based more on what you have written in your resume. They will try to understand how technically sound you are in what you have written in your resume. And one thing which I would say is, you have to prepare the index very like carefully, because most of the technical questions come from India's only. Other business questions and other questions related to articleship are okay, but India's will have a more importance and more weightage here. So India's is the prime focus, I would say.
Yeah, I would like to give some suggestions about the test that we have, technical test or written test. So it will comprise of some technical question related to your stuff that you have read for the CA final, plus some reasoning some stuff will be there, and English portion will also be there. So it's a mix up of all the things, and fairly what I have given in my last attempt, it's a quite a good level. Okay, test. You just be prepared with your skills at a very good level. So that's the thing I just.
So, I will give a suggestion in terms of how you can, what tricks you can use for this. Huh? See, think of it that when you are facing an interview, no, there are two parties, right? One is an interviewer and an interviewee. Both have a time limitation. You might not, the interviewee doesn't have a time limitation. The interviewer definitely has a time limitation. That person has to finish in 30 minutes, correct? Na? So there are two things. One is that whatever you are preparing, na, you should have a depth of that, so that that person is interested in that conversation that is going on. And there can be fair guesses that you can make. For example, IFRS 15, or sorry, Ind AS 115 is a fair guess because revenue accounting is something which is very common and would be expected also. Leases can be expected. Ind AS 110, definitely there might be some expectation. People might ask. Inventory accounting, there might be questions on that. But other than that, now if you leave, so this is just from an accounting standards point of view. Other than that, only psychopaths will ask questions like on employee benefits and all that, huh? See, because we know also that in Ind AS 109. Now, 109 is such a complex standard that the person who's asking can also be lost in that standard. So it's a very complex standard. So only people who have, like I told you, some psychopath kind of people will ask questions on that, unless it's a simple question, obviously. Fair value to OCI, fair value to P&L, that very simple, not held for trading, those kind of simple questions they might ask. So you don't have to really worry from that perspective. Where you have to worry is the simple standards which are there or the standards you are familiar with. For example, Ind AS 115. It can be a deceptive standard. Now, there, the way I would suggest that you prepare is that you make some questions on your own and then keep on asking the questions. Second, use ChatGPT. Prepare what kind of questions will come in, and then you can have a conversation, ask recursively. Some of the people here didn't have that luxury to prepare using ChatGPT. I'm not sure if Abhitej, you had that luxury to prepare using. The answers at that time from ChatGPT was pretty bad in terms of accounting standards, right?
Yeah, now ChatGPT has evolved 3.54, so it wasn't there 2 years back.
Yeah, much better. So you have that advantage. So you use that advantage to prepare some sample questions also. But more than that, now you try to think of different scenarios. When you start thinking, you understand the standard and the concept in a better way. So that is one. Second favorite of people would be capital budgeting, which is again, because think of it that I have been working in a business finance role for 15 years or something like that. Now, I might not remember employee benefits at all, even though I'm a chartered accountant. I'm not, but if I'm the interviewer being a chartered accountant, might not even remember some of those concepts, right? But they might ask you questions on NPV IRR. These are favorites of most of the people, right? Just you guys, you also correct me if I'm wrong, because you have attended more interviews than I have. And though I have taken interviews, but I have not attended as many interviews. So typically they ask that on capital budgeting or something like that. And then they will ask you things like weighted average cost of capital, some ratios kind of question related to, different performance ratios and all that. So these are the things which are seemingly very simple, but can become complex. And you can fall into a trap. So again, when we have a session on how to prepare for an interview, not technical interview, not the grooming and etiquette part, but the technical part, I can take you through more depth in that. But you get the idea, right? You have tools with you to prepare also. You can easily create your sample questions. But this 20 to 30 minutes that an interviewer has to ask, you also figure out that which are the parts that you want the person to ask also. So your resume should have that articleship experience. You should be thorough. So if you've done articleship in a particular area, you should be thorough in that area. So you cannot say that, no, this I didn't do. All I did was that along with the group, I went as a individual contributor. I was an article assistant. I didn't do anything and all that. So think of it from that perspective and prepare, because you'll have 2 or 3 questions, maximum 4 questions in the deep questions that you will need to answer. Out of that, you just need to make at least 2 questions you need to answer in an impressive manner. It's like stock trading, more than 50% of the times you make profit, you are good for the same amount and all that. So something like that. Have that strategy in mind before you go for that. See how you want to spend that. And the good thing is that you can prepare for the interview. Most of the interviewers don't prepare for the interview. They would look at your resume a few hours back, but you have the chance to look at your resume much before. So you can prepare well for your interview. You have enough time for that. Yeah, Dhanu, Harsh, Avitej, if you want to add anything else, you can.
Sir, are these interviews conducted over virtual mode, or we should be come to Wipro and
No, virtual mode. Virtual mode.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, good evening, sir. I want to ask you, all of you, sir, since long from 15 years, and others, Harsh, Abhitej, and Bhanu, you joined recently. So, what are the critical phases you after you joining after 1 month or 2 months or 3 months, which also can encounter with us? So, you want to share with us that what are the critical phases that you face after joining to the Wipro?
Yeah, so when I joined, I was actually from Hyderabad. So Bangalore was a new place to me. So adjusting to Bangalore, and this is the first job. So you don't know how the corporate culture works. Till now, you are handholded by your partner or a senior person at an articleship firm, which you don't get. Here, you should work as an independent person, knowing what stuff you know. And also, it would be hectic, just like an old days, where you need to work. Also, you need to get to know that the case studies classes will be going on, one or two in a week. Then you need to prepare on that. You will be given time of 1 month to prepare on that. Then present your case. So that part will be going on. Your work should be going on. The two are parallel one. So you need to work hard relating to it. So these are the new things, because adjusting to an environment will take time. And for the first 6 months I was in controllership. So that was an hectic time because I started around February, and it's an audit season where the auditors will come question you, etc., how the things are going, the preparation of financials, etc. You need to support in that stuff. So it's a busy season for the controllership guys there. So the first 6 months goes on. Then after that, as you settle on, then you change the department again. Either some business project would come, or another for the 2 months. So it's a short duration things where, as you try to settle down, the things would change. So you should be agile enough to adapt to the conditions. So that would be the tough part. So how will you adapt to it, and how will you portray yourself, and how will you do the work will define you. Yeah.
Okay, sir. And Naren sir, what what are your experience till now that what are the still you are facing or something you want to share that what's the uh,
Sure. See, I'll tell you my experience in Wipro. Yeah, I joined in 1998 as a software engineer. Huh. So I didn't have any qualification other than BTech. BTech mechanical engineering is all that I have done. And it's different from CA in the sense that if you pass the entrance exam, then unless you screw up big time, now you do something really bad, you'll definitely become an engineer. If you do really bad, very, very stupid things, only then you will not become. Otherwise, once you pass the entrance, you're definitely going to become an engineer. And if you put little bit of effort also, you will get 65% or something like that. So I put little bit of effort and slightly more effort. But that's how I joined Wipro. I joined from another company as a lateral hire into. I had 2 years of experience before that. Uh, the but in Wipro, I have done various roles as a technical software engineer to becoming a manager, managing a team with delivery manager, and also doing a technical consultant and did pre-sales. I did sales for 3 years where I was selling. I was in the sales team and I had customers in India, Asia Pacific, and basically Southeast Asia and Australia and New Zealand. And then I moved into finance. Now, if you think of any organization that would allow a person like me, who has, and I didn't do engineering from some IIT or anything like that. Huh? I did an engineering from a government college in Kerala. So if any company allows me without even asking me whether you have enough knowledge, you have a qualification first. So you'll ask now whether you have the qualification. What was amazing in my journey was that they never asked me if I have the knowledge also. So when I moved from sales into finance, now I was so stupid that I didn't know the difference between economics and commerce. Forget debit credit. And I joined the finance team at the age of 38. I didn't have any idea. I didn't know what CA. I know that CA was an exam that you pass. I didn't know about the details of it. That's how I joined the finance team, which is predominantly CS. The reason why I got into the finance team was that at least a culture of Wipro is that if you have that fire in you, then there is no glass ceiling or anything of that sort. You can move wherever from wherever. So we have people who have joined as chartered accountant, went on to become CFO of an international business, then is a CEO of a business. So he's a chartered accountant by training. This is the freedom that you get, and at least I got, and others also I have seen getting and continue to get also. So Wipro is that way. It's very unique from that perspective that it allows you. It doesn't put unnecessary hurdles or glass ceilings for you. So if you have the capability, you are willing to take the risk and you are willing to put this thing at stake. So I told, when I was joining the finance team, I said that, look, I don't know, but I'm willing to learn. So 3 months I sat and didn't sleep. I slept for only 2 hours a day, and then I just started studying like crazy, whatever people study in CA. Not that I completed everything in CA. Tax I didn't touch because it was too confusing for me, but I started studying bookkeeping, accounting, all that. But in 3 months, at least I could have a conversation. I could understand what others were speaking. Then kept on building. I didn't have the shame to ask people. So two good things, that people are willing to help, and that you can see amongst these group also, Harsh, Dhanu and Abhitej also, they are willing to share anything with you guys also. So amongst the team also, they are willing to share anything. They don't have that this is something I won't tell you about and all that. They're very chill like that. So that has been my experience. I have had only good experiences in that way, in Wipro from that perspective. Frustrations have been there. Sometimes I get frustrated. I used to get frustrated with my laptop. The laptop is too slow. It is not working fast enough. And why can't they do this? And sometimes IT systems don't work. Sometimes some other things don't work. But that is a normal frustration. I'm willing to live with that frustration for the company which is ethical and that can provide me opportunities to grow. Because in my last role in the finance team, I was signing the SOX certificate for Wipro Limited. It is a listed company. Because I was responsible for closure of revenues. I was signing the SOX certificate, which is a personal liability that I'm giving the assurance to the CEO and the CEO and the CFO, right? So it is a big responsibility that they have given me. I was signing APR, which is the annual performance report for filing of Softex and all that. So, and even bank also, I had a POA for some of the account receivable sales that sale of AR that we used to do. So trust that they give and the opportunities for learning is incredible. I cannot imagine any other company would have given me that opportunity. If they can give a person like me that opportunity, and somebody like you who are a chartered accountant, who have a very different pedigree, sky is not even sky is the limit. That is my view, at least. But you have to put time and effort for that. It is not that 1 month I could get after I did 1 month software engineering. I said, now I have learned everything. Now I want to move to do something completely different. I want to become the CEO. Not like that. So the thing is that climb to the top of the mountain is from the bottom. So that you have to go through that bottom. So, but the company gives you that opportunity. That is what was the best thing for me, at least.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, Bhanu, Avitesh, and Akash for such guidance.
All the best, Divyanshu. Ujjwal, you have a question. Ujjwal, you might need to come on. You would need to unmute yourself and ask.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hello, sir. I am audible?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello. First of all, good evening, everyone. Sir, I want to ask one thing, that all the candidates who will fill the form will get the link of online test, or there is some shortlisting on the basis of filling of form or
primarily based on eligibility criteria, Ujjwal. Primarily based on eligibility criteria, where there is a doubt, you can ask, because you can ask and send a mail and ask us, and we can clarify that wherever you have a doubt. So we can clarify that over mail. But it is there's no shortlisting for the written test. It's purely based on the eligibility criteria which is there.
Okay, sir. Means only eligibility criteria will see.
Yes,
और
yes.
तो कुछ नहीं होगा.
और कुछ नहीं है उसमें, बाकी कोई शॉर्टलिस्टिंग नहीं है उसमें.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I think Parth has a question. Parth Siroya.
Hi, Parth.
Hello, sir. Sir, I would like to ask that those 55% criteria would be seen individual group wise or in aggregate?
Aggregate.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
So 54.3 is also rounded up, huh? Just for your information.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So round up. So whatever we can know.
There is a similar question of Ashi Agrawal on the chat also, Narenji. It says he's qualified May 24 with 60% and cleared second group with 53%. So it makes.
So I've asked her to just drop a mail. I replied individually to her. I'd asked her to drop a mail with the details.
Okay.
So we can.
No worries. I think most of the questions have been addressed. Saurabh, let us take your last question, Saurabh. You can unmute yourself and ask the question.
Hi sir, actually I want to I have one question. Could you please tell me how it is different from cohort program in Wipro?
See, both are okay. I'll tell you the genesis of the cohorts program is cohorts program came first. We started in 2006, the cohorts program. So, but the businesses are very different. The one is an IT business, and second is the FMCG and industrials business. So it really depends upon your interest also, which is the one that you would want to choose. But essentially, the genesis of the GFL program is that in one of the board meetings, the Wipro chairman had said that we should have a similar program in Wipro Enterprises also. Long time back, I remember that conversation. So that is how the GFL program started. GFL program started in 2019. So it's a much younger program. But the differentiation comes predominantly in terms of the demands of the business. In the IT business, the business models are different, the delivery models are different, and therefore the complexities of the business is completely different from what you see in FMCG sector. For example, invoicing is slightly more easier in the IT. If somebody has to run invoicing team, it's slightly more easier in the IT business compared to the FMCG or the industrials business. In fact, FMCG business, I won't say industrials, because the terms would be very different from one group of customer to another customer and so on. So it is the business that is different rather than the program as such. Don't think that the program will be there. So depends on your interest level, but all other things, all other things remain the same in terms of opportunities, in terms of ethics, in terms of everything else.
Sir, actually, I have done industrial training in controllership team, and I already applied for cohort program. Then can I also apply for this program?
Yes, you can apply for that, but just that, just make up your mind once you do that, which is the one that you want to go into. But you can definitely apply for this program. There is no restriction. But what I'm saying is that let us say you are appearing for an interview, and let's say I am one of the business CFOs, and I ask you the question that if you get both, which one would you prefer, or which is the one that you would want to go? So now you have to have a convincing answer. You can't give some goli that time, because the problem is that if I give a goli, you will be able to make out of it how sincere I am. Similarly, if you give a goli, the other person will also be able to make out. So that's why you should be clear in your mind when you appear. There is nothing right or wrong about that.
Yes.
So me too have one question.
Thank you, sir.
Shall I ask, sir?
Yes, please go. Go ahead.
Sir, actually, just want to know one thing. Is it how to apply for such program? Like, is there it on a website or any particular link? Because I joined the meeting a bit late, so.
Yeah, I saw your message. I was not sure. But you can. I'll just ask Smita to copy paste that link for you again.
Yes,
I have it also here. Just check if she's
Smita
copy
has
pasted.
posted it, sir.
Yeah, she just
All
posted
right.
it, so you can pick it up from there, Ritik. Huh?
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, but we are also active on LinkedIn. What I would also encourage is that you can speak to Dhanu and Harsh, who are on LinkedIn, and by the time you can figure out also who are the other people in Wipro Enterprise, you can reach out to them, and you can reach out to me also. But I am not very active on LinkedIn per se, so that's why sometimes I take a lot of time to respond. That's the bit embarrassing thing about me. But you can ask them, and they can help you out also. But we have a page also, Wipro Enterprises page. There has been something that is posted in case you miss the link or something like that. Huh?
Thank you, sir.
I think, Narenji, most of the queries have been dealt with, and as usual, you have dealt with every single query in all the detail possible. And most of the times when this happens, we discover a new you. Today, it was the first time when I learned that the way you entered into Wipro. So, I think pretty much everything is summed up. Okay, so there is Naren sir has taken a resume building session as well, and he has attended, and it was amazing. Sir, there is a testimonial for you. Ankita
Thank you so
says.
much. It's
So I
no,
think we.
I'm sure that you will also. But the idea that you should share your experiences honestly and with for the to the new generation all the time. So
Yes, yes. So we'll fix up one more session with you, sir, if kids
sure,
want it.
definitely,
So
Deepak.
I'll just run through with kids and then ask them if they are firmly yes. Otherwise, it should not so happen that they end up filling up all the Google forms and then they don't turn up and then ask for recordings later date. That should not so happen.
No problem.
Okay. So we'll formally put it to a close, sir, now. And I would like to thank you on behalf of all the fresh started accountants that Wipro has pulled out time and brought people like you and Mr. Ravi to share the insights directly. And thanks to all the cohorts also, Abhitej, Dhanu, and Harsh. Thank you very much for sharing your experiences and guiding the seniors or juniors. So, on behalf of Degree to Placements, it's a very warm thank you on behalf from all of us. Thank you, Narenji. Thank you,
Thank
Smita.
you.
And thank
Thank you,
you to the
everyone.
Wipro team.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you.
Deepak. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
All the best.
All the best. Bye.
We'll be closing the session, Narenji. Okay.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.